There's an organization, it's called the World Economic Forum. Now what they do is they support and they take data and insight from countries all around the world. And one such insight that they gather from thousands and thousands of companies all around the world is what skills are needed. And one interesting fact that they've uncovered is that within the next 5 years, all companies are going to need to reskill their employees. In fact, 50% of all the workers on the globe will need to reskill themselves. Now think about that, right? Those two kids, regardless of what they study or what they're studying today, they're going to have to relearn 5 years from now, right? Imagine when they're adults. And this pattern is expected to continue given the way the world continues to change and to evolve. Now you might wonder, well, what are these skills that are new skills or that are skills that people will need to develop? Well, they studied that as well. And in fact, there's 10 top skills that they realize are going to be super important by the year 2025. And they continue to do this type of analysis. What I'd like you to do with the person beside you is I want you to try to guess what are some of these top 10 skills that you think are going to be super important for people of all ages to be able to thrive within the work economy. So go ahead, pause the video. You have 2 minutes. Talk with the person beside you and try to think about what skills you think are going to be the top most important skills in the next 5 years. Okay, hopefully that gave you some time to think about these skills. Now, here's where I actually am so super curious to hear what your responses are. So what I'm going to invite someone to do is to lead and guide you sharing some of those thoughts with me. So I want someone to videotape as this happening because I want to hear what some of these skills are. So go ahead, someone facilitate and have people shout out what these top skills are. I'll give you about 30 seconds to do so. And then please do send me the video because I'm super curious to hear what skills you think are going to be super important by 2025. Go ahead. All right, thanks so much for capturing your responses for me. So I will share with you the top 10 skills. Now, more importantly is the categories in which these top 10 skills fall under. So the first category is that of problem solving. So we see things, and you can see the blue dots, you can follow it here, analytical thinking, complex problem solving, being innovative. These are all skills that involve thinking beyond the traditional, but also making sense of things and pulling new ideas together that might not have been thought of before. So that's the first one, problem solving. The second one is all around self-management. Now, self-management is interesting because it involves learning. The fact that 50% of the world has to reskill means we have to know how to learn and how to be actively involved in our learning. But also, this concept of a self-management also has to do with resilience, right? And stress tolerance and flexibility. And what does it mean to be flexible? What does it mean to be resilient and to be adaptable? This third concept has to do with working with others. Super important is the ability to be able to negotiate, to be able to be empathic with others. So this skill of being a leader, or where is it here? Social influence. And what does it mean to have social influence? These are all new skills that need to be developed within our workforce. And the last one, I'm going to pull it out here, has to do with technology use. And of course, as industry evolves and more new types of technologies come in, our ability to be able to utilize those technologies for the work we do becomes super important. That's an important skill that they realize as well. So those are 4 categories of skills, and hopefully you might have guessed some of them. And so we can think about these skills that are super important for 2025, and that's not too far from now. Now, countries all over the world have realized this. In fact, this report has been coming out for a while, and countries have been attuned to how the changing nature of work has evolved. And countries have realized, well, the things that we've been doing in school, memorizing facts and, multiplication tables and writing essays, although that's important, literacy, numeracy, basic skills are important. so too are developing these skills. And countries around the world are asking themselves, how do we create opportunities to teach these skills in these youth? And that's why, I go back to those two kids. They both have an equal opportunity because these skills don't necessarily need to be taught in the school. They can be taught with regular experiences. I want to give you an example of how this is already happening in real life. This is several years ago. In fact, you can see 2016. I had the opportunity to go to China with the 15th largest employer in the world. It's called Foxconn. They make over 40% of the world's consumer electronics. And on this particular day, they convened all of their top senior executives. 55,000 people from across the world gathered. And what was interesting, at one part of the day, they had one of the leaders of the group that makes all of Apple's accessories and products, and she got up there and she started talking about how, the advent of camera technologies and sensors in their factories where they make their iPads is changing the nature of their workforce and even their engineers and others that are working, because their skills have to adapt to how they might utilize these new technologies to be more efficient and more productive. In fact, it's changed the workforce so much. What she put up on the slide on the stage was a list of new skills and criteria that they give to all the universities where they traditionally hire their employees from. And what they are asking them for is to develop those skills. And let me tell you, what was on that list did not have to do with technology. It had to do with a lot of these other skills, soft skills or social emotional skills that were so important that they realized they needed within their industry. So that's an example of what I experienced myself. And so you can see that, like I said before, it's not necessarily school where you develop these skills, it's the experiences and any experiences. But we have to be attuned, we have to open our hearts, we have to open our minds to develop these capabilities through the different interactions that we have every single day, even as young as the age of 5 or as old as 18 or 19 or 25-year-olds, however you might be right now. And the beauty is, what the evidence shows us is, you're never too young, you're never too old to learn and to adapt these new skills. Now, you might be wondering, okay, but how does this work? And people who have done this effectively, what does that look like?